Grandma? Grandma, it's me. I'm in trouble. It's your grandson's voice, or your daughter's. Crying, panicking, begging you not to tell anyone, and it is not them. In the next 90 seconds, a stranger is going to use that voice to pull thousands of dollars out of your hands. Cash, gift cards, sometimes a courier sent to your front door, and the whole time, you will believe you are rescuing someone you love. There is one moment where this scam lives or dies, and it is not when you hand over the money. It is much earlier in the first 10 seconds. I'm going to show you that moment, and the one move that ends the call instantly and safely. Because somewhere out there, a few seconds of your family's voice is already public. And that is all this takes. Here is how it arrives. The phone rings, sometimes in the middle of the night. The voice on the line is unmistakable. Your grandchild, your son, your daughter. They've been in a car accident. They're sitting in a jail cell. They were in a car that got pulled over. There were drugs, and they are so ashamed they can barely speak. Please, don't tell mom and dad. Then a second voice takes over. Calm, official, a lawyer, a police officer, a bail bondsman. They explain exactly what you have to do right now to make this go away. And the clock, they tell you, is already running. This is one of the cruelest scams operating today because it does not pick your pocket. It hijacks your love. So let's take it apart. For years, this was called the grandparent scam. A con artist doing a rough impression, hoping a worried grandparent would panic and fill in the blanks. It worked often enough to spread. In 2023, Americans reported losing about $2.7 billion to imposter scams of every kind, the single largest category of fraud reported to the Federal Trade Commission that year. But something changed, and it changed fast. The impression is no longer rough. It is perfect. Because the criminals stopped trying to do the voice themselves and started letting a computer do it for them. Reports of these calls using cloned voices have climbed sharply, and the losses hit hardest among older people who are targeted on purpose. The Federal Trade Commission now warns specifically about scammers using artificial intelligence to clone the voice of a loved one in trouble. What used to take a gifted impressionist now takes a cheap laptop and a 30-second clip. To understand how the call gets so convincing, you have to understand what these crews can now build out of almost nothing. This is not one lonely con artist with a phone. These are organized crews, often run out of overseas call centers, working from written scripts and shift rotas, with roles handed out like jobs in any business. One person plays the grandchild, one plays the lawyer, one handles the money. And the money is designed to vanish. They ask for it in the forms you cannot claw back. Gift cards, read out over the phone, a wire transfer, cryptocurrency, or more and more, plain cash. In the cash version, they don't even need you to leave the house. They send a courier, a rideshare driver, a hired runner, sometimes someone who doesn't fully understand what they're collecting, straight to your door to pick up an envelope while you stay on the line. Some crews even run a second line at the same time, a fake bank or a fake court, ready to vouch for the story the moment you start to doubt it. Every objection you might raise, they have already rehearsed an answer for. The voice is the bait. The courier is the hook. And the technology that makes the bait irresistible is now cheap, fast, and available to almost anyone. Every second of that call is engineered to do one thing: keep your thinking brain switched off. It opens with panic. A crying, frightened, familiar voice trips an instinct older than reason. Protect the child, your heart rate spikes, and careful, skeptical thinking shuts right down. That is not a side effect of the scam. That is the entire point of it. Then comes secrecy. Don't tell mom. Don't tell dad. Please, I'm so embarrassed. This quietly cuts you off from the one phone call that would end the whole thing in seconds, a quick word with anyone else in the family. Then comes authority. The lawyer or the officer gives you firm orders and a hard deadline. You are no longer questioning a stranger. You are cooperating with a system. Notice the order. Panic first to break you, secrecy second to isolate you, authority third to steer you. By the time money is even mentioned, you are no longer making a decision. You are just following instructions, and running underneath all of it is one unbreakable rule the scammer will never say out loud. Do not let you hang up. They keep you on the line, through the drive to the bank, through the store, through the courier's knock at the door, because the call ending is the single thing that kills the scam. So how is the voice so perfect? Here is the part that should change the way you think about your phone. That voice is real. It is genuinely your grandson's voice or your daughter's, not an impression. It was cloned. Modern voice cloning tools can copy a person's voice from a tiny sample of audio, in some cases just a few seconds of it. And that sample is everywhere. A birthday video on Facebook, a clip on TikTok, a voicemail greeting, a few spoken words in a YouTube video. The crew lifts a few seconds, feeds it into the software, and now they can type any sentence at all and hear it spoken back in your loved one's voice. And it gets worse. They spoof the caller ID so the call appears to come from the real person's number, lighting up with their name and their photo. With the newest tools, they don't even have to record anything in advance. They speak, and the software converts their words into your grandchild's voice live so they can hold a real back-and-forth conversation with you. It costs them almost nothing. These tools are sold openly as products for narration and audiobooks. The criminals simply point them at a stolen clip instead. Now the kidnapping version. A scream down the line. "We have your daughter. Send money or else." Here is the truth almost nobody grasps in the moment. In the overwhelming majority of these calls, no one has been taken. Nothing has happened. The kidnapping is staged. A cloned or borrowed scream, a script and a demand engineered to flood you with so much terror that you cannot do the one thing that would prove it false. Call her. She is at her desk. She is in class. She is completely fine. That is the twist. The emergency was never real. Your panic was the only thing they ever needed to manufacture. Here is how you take all of that power back. The whole call is built to rush you, so your entire defense is to slow it down. 4 tells and 1 habit that beats the scam before it ever rings. 1. A voice that rushes you. Panic, secrecy, and a deadline all in the same breath. "I'm in trouble. Don't tell anyone. You have to act right now." A real emergency can survive the 60 seconds it takes to check. A manufactured one cannot. 2. Caller ID can lie. The screen can show your grandchild's name, their number, and their photo, and still be a stranger. A familiar number is no longer proof of anything. Treat it as decoration. 3. Pay in ways you can't undo. Gift cards read over the phone, wire transfers, crypto, or cash handed to a stranger at your door. These are the fingerprints of fraud. No real lawyer, court, or hospital has ever collected bail or a bill this way. 4. Hang up and call back. This is the big one. Whatever you are told, end the call and reach the person yourself on the number you already have saved. Or call another family member to lay eyes on them. A real crisis survives a hang-up. A scam dies the instant you make it. And the one habit that beats this before it ever starts. Agree on a family safe word today. A simple, random word that only your family knows. If a panicked, urgent call cannot produce that word, you already have your answer. If you have already sent money, move quickly, because some of these can still be stopped. If you paid with gift cards, call the card company's fraud line right now and report the numbers as used in a scam. If the balance hasn't been drained yet, it can sometimes be frozen. This is worth trying even hours later. If you wired money or sent it through a payment app, call your bank or that app immediately and ask them to recall or reverse the transfer. Speed is what decides whether that's even possible. If a courier is on the way or has already been, do not confront them. Call your local police on their non-emergency line and report it. The runner can sometimes be traced, then report it to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center at ic3.gov and to the FTC at reportfraud.ftc.gov. And call the family member whose voice was used, because they need to know their voice is out there, being cloned. You were not foolish. You reacted exactly the way love is supposed to make you react. They built a machine to turn that love against you. Simply knowing the machine exists is most of what disarms it. The grandchild in trouble is only one mask. The same cloned voice is already being pointed in every other direction. A boss calling an employee to demand an urgent wire transfer. A husband or wife's voice asking you to move money fast. A panicked plea that turns out to be a recording on a loop. The voice has become a delivery system, and the supply of voices is the entire internet. So here is what to do this week, before any call ever comes. Sit your family down and choose that safe word. Turn up the privacy settings on the accounts where your kids and grandkids post videos so a stranger can't harvest their voice in a single click. And tell the older people in your life about this. plainly and without embarrassment, because they are the ones these crews dial first. The technology will keep getting better, the voice will keep getting more perfect, but the move never changes. You hang up and you call back. A real emergency survives that. A scam never does. That is what we do here. Every week we take apart one more scam, and once a month, the billion-dollar frauds that fooled entire markets. So that the next voice that tries to rush you reaches someone who already knows the trick. Subscribe, and then go agree on that safe word tonight before you ever need it.